Right, welcome everyone. So, this is the fourth of Scholar's summer webinar series. Give students better feedback faster with AI. We're so glad you're here with us today, and whether you've been with us all summer or this is your first session, you're in the right place. So, let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm Alyssa, and I'll be your host for today. Here's what you can expect in today's session. We'll start with a quick overview of feedback challenges, show off how PAWfessor Bruce, our AI teaching assistant, helps you quickly review student responses and generate meaningful, standards-aligned feedback. But feedback isn't just about what teacher gives, it's also about what the student receives. So that's why we'll also explore how BaxterBot, our student facing AI, helps learners understand and apply feedback in real time, even when you're working with other students. So we'll give you some plug and play AI prompts at the end as well, so you can start using today, even if you're not using Scholar. But before we begin, let's do a quick introduction of Scholar Education for anyone who's new. So, Scholar is an AI powered education platform built for K 12 classrooms. With tools designed in partnership with real teachers, Scholar helps you plan lessons, differentiate instruction, track accommodations, and most importantly, save some time. At the heart of Scholar are our two AI powered Bernedoodles, PAWfessor Bruce for teacher and BaxterBot for students. They make AI feel approachable and useful and hopefully never overwhelming. So let's be honest, feedback is one of the most powerful things we can give our student, but it's also one of the hardest to keep up with. You want to be timely, specific, and meaningful. But the reality is, it often takes so long. And by the time the students get it, they've already moved on. And even when we do manage to carve out time, it's tough to personalize it for every learner. And then there's always the question of, do they understand what I meant? And this is where exactly where AI can help. It gives us the capacity to do what we want to do, give high quality personalized feedback without spending every evening and weekend working on that. So here is where PAWfessor Bruce really shines. Let's say your students just turn in a short response or a writing assignment. Bruce can analyze each submission in real time. He aligns the feedback to your standards, suggests next step for students, and even provides you with an overview of how the class is doing as a whole. You stay in control. Bruce gives you a starting point. You can adjust it however you'd like. It still sounds like you, but without having to reinvent the wheel 25 to 125 times over. You save time, personalize support, and close those learning gaps without burnout. So let's break this down a little bit. Just think about giving feedback on just one short paragraph. You probably spend a minute or two reading it, and then 3 to 5 writing your feedback. You multiply that by a class of 25 students, and you're looking at nearly 3 hours of feedback for just one assignment. With BruceBot, the first draft is already waiting for you. You just need to review it, personalize it if you'd like, and send it off. So it's not about cutting corners, it's about being more efficient with the time that we have. And one quick but important note, PAWfessor Bruce is smart enough to flag when someone might be copied and pasted. So if a student's answer is pulled from somewhere else, you'll get a heads up. It's like having a second set of eyes on your grading stack. If you're going to use AI for feedback, and I hope that you will to save yourself some time, here are a few quick tips we've learned along the way. First, be specific. Include the student's grade level. Call out something they did well or areas of growth. Second, tie it to a rubric or standard, whether it's citing evidence, solving a word problem. Clear targets make feedback more meaningful. And finally, be mindful of tone. I like to keep things supportive and growth mindset focused, especially when it's something a student has struggled with. And if you're thinking, how do I even ask AI all of this? Don't worry, we've got some sample prompts like this, like these three right here in front of you, and we'll share more at the end. I want to now show you how feedback goes beyond just grading assignments. Think about report cards, comments, IEP updates, and even incident reports. They're all forms of feedback. They communicate student progress, behavior, and support needs to families, support staff, and students themselves. But writing them takes time and mental energy. So when you're crafting report card comments, for example, you can ask Bruce for something specific, growth mindset, or even tailored to your subject area. You still personalize it, but the heavy lifting is done. And then when it comes to IEP updates, this really takes me back. As a new teacher, I remember really struggling to figure out how to phrase things correctly, worrying if I was saying too much or not enough. Bruce helps you express progress clearly and professionally. You can input what you've observed, and he'll turn it into something aligned with the student's goal. Plus, suggest next step if needed. It can be a huge confidence boost for you. And then you've got things like incident reports. Bruce helps you write them clearly and objectively, and even catches missing pieces you may not have thought to include. And a very important but quick reminder, so Scholar protects the student privacy automatically, but if you're using another tool, avoid entering names or sensitive details and any sort of personal information just to be safe. All of these are moments of feedback that matter, and with Bruce, they don't have to be overwhelming. Now, let's shift to the student side of the feedback loop because giving great feedback is only half of the story. The other half is whether students understand it and are able to use it. And that's where BaxterBot can come in. Baxter helps students break down feedback, ask clarifying questions, and reflect on their work. And the best part is he's available anytime. So no having to wait to raise hands or waiting for small group instructions. It's like every student has their own personal tutor to walk them through the now what after they get your comments. Now we're looking at how BaxterBot supports students as they revise their work. And this is where things get really exciting. So here, a student is working on a draft of their midterm essay, and Baxter is giving feedback that's helpful but not hand-holding. He might ask the student to clarify their claim, strengthen their evidence, or improve organization, but he doesn't just give the answer. And that balance is key. The goal isn't to let AI do this thinking for students. It's to guide them to think more deeply, revise with purpose, and build confidence in their own ideas. And along the way, we're also teaching students how to use AI as a support tool and not a substitution for their own thinking. And let's be real, most of us don't have time to give every student multiple rounds of feedback, and we wish we could. But in a class of 25 or 30, you just can't sit next to each student and coach them through every draft. Baxter helps fill that gap. He gives students ways to reflect, revise, and ask for clarification anytime, even at home. And he doesn't replace the teacher, he's just extending our reach. Another great use is some form of test corrections. After an assignment, you can set up a BaxterBot experience that helps students walk through your feedback and make improvements. It's a much more meaningful learning process than just seeing a grade and moving on. When I think of the kind of support I wanted to give every student, but I just didn't have the capacity, BaxterBot is the kind of tool that makes that possible. And for students who might be hesitant to ask for help out loud, having a private space to get clarity, encouragement, or even just a confidence boost can make a huge difference. So, together, Bruce and Baxter cover all of the bases. Bruce helps you give thoughtful, actionable feedback without draining your time. And Baxter helps students understand that feedback is actually used to grow. So, this full circle feedback, timely, personal, and human centered, just with a little AI superpower behind the scenes. Whether it's assignments, reflections, report cards, IEP updates, AI can support you every step of the way. Now, I know some of you might not be using Scholar yet, and that's really okay. So, we want to make every teacher feel empowered to try AI, no matter the platform. And that's why we created a free starter AI prompt library for teachers. These are plug and play prompts for things like lesson planning, warm ups, IEP support, parent communication, and more. You can use these in ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whichever LLM tool you prefer. It's a simple way to dip your toe in and start seeing the time saving benefits for yourself. You can scan the QR code or enter the bit.ly to access the library of prompts. And a pro tip is to make a copy of the document so you can edit it and make your own. So let's wrap this up with a few final takeaways. Grab the BaxterBot prompt library. You'll get easy plug and play prompts to start using right away. Try a prompt this week, whether it's a warm up, scaffold, bell ringer, just test one out to see to see how it would work for your students. And then join us next week. So we'd love to hear how your first prompt went. And speaking of next week, our upcoming session is called How Students Can Get Help Without Interrupting Class. And we'll show you how to support students with AI in real time without constant hand raising or distractions. So if today's session was about giving better feedback, next week is about making that support accessible. So we hope you'll join us again. And don't forget that you can access your PD certificate for attending the summer series. Scan the QR code or enter in the bit.ly to access this template. You'll customize it based on how many sessions you can attend, so you can get up to 5 hours. And this can be for live sessions, or if you're watching the recordings. And don't forget that you've gained an entry into our gift card giveaway. Every session you attend means another chance at potentially winning that. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you feel more confident and excited about using AI. And then we hope you'll join us next Wednesday and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, everybody.